My dad cheated on my mom while she was dying. Now that she's gone, I don't know what to do. My dad is an untrustworthy person. Growing up, he'd always say that he'll never put anything past anyone. Anyone can screw you over. A few years ago I was in a relationship with a person I loved who cheated. My dad's response: well baby, everyone is going to cheat on you. If you were to ask him now, he'll claim he never said it. My belief is he was overtired at the time and spoke from instinct rather than filtered thought. I knew he'd been cheating on my mom for a while, and she knew it too, but told me that she was too old to throw a fuss and stress over it. This last year, my mom was very sick. In and out of the hospital, multiple major surgeries. They didn't have a good marriage and argues all the time, but they were both retired and I expected him to be there. Yet every time I turned around he had another excuse for why he couldn't go to the hospital, even though she asked. I have things to do. Things were on an upswing with her health, and after a major organ transplant we thought she was going to make it. Then she suddenly died from a complication last month. To say I'm devastated is an understatement. I'm doing my best to give myself space to grieve. Long story short, I found out he was still having an affair when we were at the funeral home coordinating her service and burial, and I saw a text thread with his mistress. A mistress he'd been in contact with for the entire year my mom was dealt ill. A mistress that he referred to me a few years ago to do my taxes, as she's an accountant. And a mistress he's still in contact with not even a week after his wife died. I began this post because soon after I stared at the now empty closet that used to contain my mom's clothes, I heard him on the phone a few moments ago on the phone calling her baby and saying I love you. Part of me wants to believe that they had an open marriage that I didn't know about, because it makes it easier than stomaching the fact that not only is he a terrible person, but that I'm losing two parents at the same time, because he can't be my father anymore. Now I'm left wondering, where do I go from here? How do I end my relationship with him and heal? For my mother's memory, but also for the health of my own relationship and self-worth. I can't be around him. Being with him, even before finding this stuff out, makes me believe I can't trust anyone. That everyone will hurt me, so I should hurt them first. I've tried for years to climb out of that hole and don't want to go back. Edit, my apologies, I feel I should clarify. He did show up to the hospital, but it was roughly 3x a week and he would leave as quickly as he could. Usually he'd stay for 2-3 hours, but half of that time was spent going in and out, and if she was sleeping when he arrived he'd quickly leave and say he stopped by. But my mom kept asking him to visit more. She wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but if the roles were reversed, she would have been there. For context, she was in the hospital for roughly 6 months out of the past year and incredibly lonely. He also was supposed to be her caretaker when she came home for a few months, and I came to the house one time to find her doing a procedure on herself that he was supposed to do. They had him trained for over a month and wouldn't discharge her until he proved he could do it well, because the risk for infection was so high. Fun fact, she ended up getting an infection, which led to her moving up on the transplant list again and getting it. I don't blame him for her death, but that context has made all of this even more frustrating.